I'll just open it up with questions.
The hurt and the pain that you felt after last year's loss to the 49ers, does that ever go away? I mean, it's a new season. I know you're on to different things, but is it still like linger somewhere inside you on a random Tuesday night where you think about things?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that'll go. Just like my second year in the league, we go to the Super Bowl and get smashed by Baltimore. You know, I won't ever forget that either. So those stick with you, you know, and you know, we just didn't do enough, and you know, that's you learn from every experience, and unfortunately, that's the best way to learn is from the losses. You know, it really is. So.
Keep it in the past and know that, and for your guys too, I guess, right? Make sure that our only focus is this game, this team. What we can do now.
Well, and there again, I mean, we have a lot of guys, but we have a ton of new faces. You know, I mean, you look at our defense. There's a ton of guys on defense right now that weren't here when we went through that. You know, so you do what you just said. I think you keep it compartmentalized. You know, you don't want to go through that feeling again. That means you got to prepare a certain way. You know, you got to play a certain way. Everything that you talk about per that opponent for that week, and it's as simple as that, man. This is the next opponent in front of us, and just, you know, keep your cool, keep your composure, stay disciplined, do the little things that it takes to win a game, and it really is that simple.
There are all kinds of pieces in an organization that maybe don't get credit on the outside for helping the team be successful. I'm just curious, the advanced scouting process. You know, what goes into that, you know, in those early week meetings, preparing for an opponent that, you know, has helped with your success here? Yeah,
a ton. Those guys are a huge resource for us. And they're really they give us the first, you know, really the first, I guess, you know, vantage point of what that team is, you know, where they're at, how they've had success, where they've struggled, injuries, which are huge, you know, injuries, who's playing for who do you foresee playing this week, or, and so it really is, they give you the jump start going into the week. Those guys have done an unbelievable job for us, and they're very thorough, some of the best I've been around. And what I love about them is they give you just the nuts and bolts of what you need. Now, they give you a whole pamphlet of stuff, you know, so every detail you could imagine, you want to look in there, and great. But for us, man, the nuts and bolts, what do we need? What do we need to know right at this point? And there's a little bit of an art to that, you know, and our guys and that's another reason being together for 4 years, because all those guys have been with us for 4 years now, make a huge difference. So it plays a huge, it's a huge role into what we do.
Shape that? I mean, is that part of being a coach in this league? You tell them what you're looking for. I'm sure there's kind of a boilerplate format for those things, but do you get some things that are individualized to what you want?
Yeah, I think that's it. It's really shaped, you know, Brad, this is kind of how I see it and what I would think. Now, here's what do the coaches really want, you know? And so you're trying to get it to where everybody gets what they need out of it. And certainly myself, and then the coordinators, you know, between Phip and AG and Ben, you know, what are you looking for? What is the information you're looking for? And then you get it exactly the way you want it. So those guys have been unbelievable for us.
With Melifonwu coming back and Amik showing he can play on the outside, I guess, what do you like about the versatility in your secondary right now?
Say that one more time.
What do you like about the versatility in your secondary right now, just with Iffy coming back and Amik playing outside?
Well, it's really I would say it's you know, this is the most versatile we've been since I've been here, and that's without CD. You know, so that's a credit to Brad first and foremost. You know, to be able to get us players that really can come in here and help, but the versatility at those positions, the corner, the nickel, the safety. And so really what you have is, you know, you got Amik who can play inside. He goes outside last week, which he's done plenty of. And so you've got that flexibility, getting Iffy back, who's going to just only get better every game he plays. Can play safety. He can play nickel in a pinch if you needed him. He can play outside if you needed him, because that's, you know, he started in this league as an outside corner So he's a little bit, can be a matchup piece for you. Obviously, BB, is huge to be able to play the safety position this year and then drop the nickel. And look, I'm not so sure we couldn't play Branch outside if we needed him. I mean, I wouldn't bat an eye if that was something that we needed. So just those three pieces alone help us out with everything else. You got TA outside, Kirby being able to do what he does, playing the post a little bit and some of those things. So it really allows you to do a lot of things defensively that you couldn't ordinarily do, And I just bring it up. The ability to play man-to-man with those personnel groups makes a huge difference, because it can overcome other areas that maybe they're a little deficient. The ability for those guys on the back end to do what they do and cover the way they cover, but then also be able to do multiple jobs allows us to do a lot.
I bet you guys love playing at Ford Field, but on the road, you guys have been undefeated.
Yeah.
So, attention to detail, the level of success that you had. Has it been surprising at all just how effective you guys have been on the road, and why do you think you've been so effective on the road?
No, I don't. Look, the best teams I've ever been a part of, player or coach, are always good road teams. They go hand in hand, and it's just, I think it's your level of detail and discipline. Those are two big things. I think it's also the fact that you can handle the pressure, which goes into being detailed and disciplined. It's not too much for you. And I think it's a challenge. It's always a challenge to go on the road. And I think we thrive off of the challenge. I think it's where we play some of our best ball. And so, those go hand in hand on the road. Man, you do. You can't hear most of the time, especially if you're offensively. It's just you guys in the huddle. A lot of times you're having to, if you're one of those guys looking at golf, you're just reading his lips to get the play. And then you got to perform, man. You got to make plays. And I don't think there's anything better than when you offensively, defensively, special teams, it's early in the game and you make a play that shuts the crowd down. It's, that's kind of what you live for on the road. So I think we embrace it. It's something we've been pretty good at. But it takes work, and it does. You got to prepare to play on the road, and our guys have been good.
A lot of players have done podcast interviews, and they say you here in the facility long hours, but they say they've never seen you work out. So they're wondering when do you get your workouts in? Because they see you here, but none of them have said they've
It's a
seen
topic,
you
huh? It's a topic like nobody sees. Yeah. Yeah. Well, look, I've got my own little gym at home. So I do stuff there, and then I've mentioned this before. I do massive power workouts in the shower. All right, so it's liberating. You should try it. But I find a way to get a sweat, and so yeah. But I don't do much up here. I want those guys picking at me. Frank, that way you can keep throwing these grenades, But if you're not, nobody sees you. They can't pick at you. So it's my advantage.
I just want to ask you one more before you go. Continuity. We've talked about this before. Just with your roster, you guys give guys long leashes to figure it out, and you stick with your guys. You're loyal. You've had to bring in some mercenaries, kind of with these injuries, and you've had to let some of those guys go. As guys come back, David this week, and Juan, who you clearly have a lot of respect for. How difficult is that when these guys come in and they help you and they give you what you need to get you through a rough patch, and just the numbers game catches up?
Yeah, it's so hard, and that's the hard, cold truth of this league, and that's the hard stuff, because it's what you just said, man. You're relying on these guys to come in and help you, and then you get some guys that get healthy, and then you got to make a move. And so, no, that's not easy. We got a lot of respect for those guys. You mentioned Quan. We just knew, of course, we would love to have him on the roster. Just know what he's about. And, well, if that's not the case, man, can we get him back here on the vet squad in some capacity? Because I still think we're going to need him before this is all said and done. We're going to need him again. And just what he brings. I mean, he's no different to me than Teddy is offensively. He's just a guy, man, he loves ball. He eats it. He sleeps it. He's smart. He doesn't bat an eye. He doesn't complain. He just works, man. And he'll go out there. I mean, this is a guy who's got a lot of skins on the wall, play a lot of football. He got no problem lining up out there on scout defense and playing ball, man, competing. And I got a tremendous amount of respect for those guys, you know. But, you know, the guys that we do bring back and that have been here a long time, man, they've earned their keep. You know, those guys have earned, Tom Kennedy has earned his place here. You know, for example, and I know he's on the roster, but it's been those guys have earned our trust and deserve to be here on some capacity. And it's not just charity, it's because we trust them. And we know we're going to need them at some point. So that's just kind of how we work here. Yep.